And thanks for joining us. This is the biggest night of the year coming up on Saturday night at Albion Park. It's Blacks of Fate Queensland Championship race night, named in honour of the greatest horse of all time, a Queensland champion in Blacks of Fate. Are we witnessing greatness? Well, we're about to find out on Saturday night because Leap to Fame is chasing history. No horse has been able to win the big three at Albion Park in the same season. Talking about the Rising Sun, the Sunshine Sprint and the Blacks of Fate. 2 for 2 so far for Leap to Fame. Can he round out with a Grand Circuit victory? Well, we're about to find out. 10 races on Saturday night. It's a star-studded lineup. Not only have we got that Grand Circuit feature, we've got the Queensland Oaks, we've got the Queensland Derby, and we've got a big Trotters Cup. The support program is outstanding, including a very, very deep 4-year-old championship. So there is a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to pull apart as far as this meeting is concerned. I've got Darren Clayton back with me. Darren, the big question, can he do it? Can he complete this big trilogy, Leap to Fame?
Yeah, well, we're in the third year of the Rising Sun, and it'll be the first year that we see a winner take the Rising Sun Sunshine Sprint. Blacks of Fate, perhaps not achieved again.
Okay, Ryan Spice. He was awesome last week. He just seems to get the job done in so many different ways. He's got to overcome a second row draw. What were your original thoughts post-draw?
I actually thought it was just about perfect, really. To the back row, follow through on the back of Swayze and play the race as it unfolds.
Okay, speaking of Swayze, this is the older half-brother. He's unbeaten for Jason Grimson. Can he really throw down a big challenge here?
I think he's the one to throw down a big challenge on the front end at some point and lighting up the screen.
Okay. What about your thoughts on Swayze, Darren? He set a track record, which has been equalled since by Leap to Fame. So it's a big bro versus little bro. How do you see it unfolding?
Yeah, well, he's got the draw to obviously push forward earlier and really take the opportunity to the other runners in the race. He gets probably to the front, you would think, looking at the map. I'm just a little bit concerned about, how he's come into the race in terms of, yes, he's been super. Can he see out a big Grand Circuit race at really his first big test?
It's going to be a fascinating contest. It comes through as race number 8, 8:50 is start time. A little bit later in this edition of Weekend Winners, we will speak with the man himself, Grant Dixon, about Leap to Fame. And we're also going to track down Shane Graham because he's set to play a pivotal role with his own runner in Turn It Up. He's drawn gate 3. He's the fastest gate speed horse on the east coast of Australia. What does he do? Does he hold? Does he hand over? Who does he hand over to? Hopefully Shane might be able to give us a little bit of insight into his way of thinking for this big race coming through on Saturday night. We're going to preview all of the big races, and that's coming up in just a moment. The first of our features that we are going to focus on Saturday night is the 4-year-old championship. It comes through as race number 3, and this is an outstanding lineup. Many of the horses that contested the Rising Sun a fortnight ago are on the backup, including Can't Find a Better Man, My Ultimate Ronnie. We've got Cobber drawn the inside of the second row, and also Tim's a Trooper, and they're set to be the major players in this race. Last year, a local victory, Some Moment Somewhere. 2 years ago, it was Spirit of St. Louis who was able to take out the 4-year-old championship. Another very good name is going to be added to the honour roll. Who will it be? Darren Clayton, let's have a look at your speed map as far as this race is concerned. It's a deep lineup here, early scratching danger zone.
Yeah, it certainly is, and to be fair, danger zone scratching, he was probably going to struggle out there in gate 7, so we look at a similar setup probably to the Rising Sun, My Ultimate Ronnie, similar gate, likely to press forward. I have him finding the front. I think from there, Can't Find a Better Man. He's been going super off speed, so he gets opportunity here. In the Rising Sun, he just had to make that early move and get forward. Just didn't really suit him that race. Didn't suit many of them with Leap to Fame dominating the way he did. But this time around, if they opt for a trail there on the back of My Ultimate Ronnie, should get a perfect trip. Cobber's the interesting run. In the Rising Sun, he took really good ground off them in the closing stages, wide off the track as well. He gets an easy trip this time around. So, if Can't Find a Better Man, if they do opt to hold the front because he's got the speed to, you would think if they really did want to, well then that puts Cobber in a beautiful spot. Even 3 fence, he's going to be right there. Who leads up the outside line? That's where it gets a little bit messy. Muscle Bart, does he just end up there because nothing else comes forward early with My Ultimate Ronnie spearing across? Away we go, could have an early look. That would put Captain Shuffles in a nice spot, and then those wider second line runners, well, Tim's a Trooper, he probably has to come wide at some point. You wouldn't think he would be going back to the fence in this race, like we saw him win last week in super fashion. He's Charlie's Angel, another one that probably has to come wide. So all in all, I think Ultimate Ronnie on the front end, Can't Find a Better Man's just in behind smoking the pipe, ready to take his shot.
Okay, so Ryan, looking at that speed map, Peg dominated. The big three likely to be on the inside there. My Ultimate Ronnie leading up, Can't Find a Better Man. Cobber's down on the inside. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, I do see it the same way, Chris. I think there will be a strategic hand up by Luke McCarthy on Can't Find a Better Man to My Ultimate Ronnie, and purely and simply because Cobber is airborne. So if Luke was to hold, I'm pretty confident to say that Cobber would be winning the race. So for mine, I think he puts in 3 fence, lets Ronnie go, and then, yeah, the big three dominate the race from there.
Okay. Any of these horses, do you think, could have played a role in the Blacks of Fate? Tim's a trooper, he was nominated, he was omitted from the field. My Ultimate Ronnie, Can't Find a Better Man. Do you think any of these horses would have played a role in the Blacks of Fate?
I think they'd certainly be place opportunities. Can't Find a Better Man ran a really good 2,600 metre race here a few weeks back where he was just saved for one run and ran a really strong closing half. So, if he got a soft trip in a race like the Blacks of Fake, he could do that. My Ultimate Ronnie, same sort of setup. He goes to the Eureka on this campaign, and even Cobbo, like the way we saw him finish that Rising Sun, they certainly wouldn't be out of it. That's sort of, Tim's a trooper, what a second stringer. You'd love to have him. Yeah. He's a first stringer for anyone else.
Well, just on that, so as you said, My Ultimate Ronnie has secured himself a spot in the Eureka, but this is a really important race for both Cobber and Tim's a Trooper. In many ways, this could be their final audition for any slot holders out there looking to pick up a horse. So they have to perform well, and if they do, they're probably going to land themselves a spot in that Eureka.
Yeah, well, they get that opportunity, that's for sure. And, Tim's a Trooper, he wouldn't be out of place in that race. So, he's really going super at the moment as well. Like that win last week, three fence just shot through and he was pulling away on the line.
Okay, so Ryan, what are you going to tip in the 4-year-old championship?
I'm going to tip Can't Find a Better Man just with the Plum Alley over My Ultimate Ronnie, Cobber, and the most consistent horse racing in Australia, Tim's a Trooper, for 4th.
Okay, so we're all coming up with the same numbers, just a little bit different the way we've put them in. We've all come up with Can't Find a Better Man on top. So you think he gets that charm run and takes the victory?
Yeah, and it's been working super for him, just saved for one run, and he's got a really brilliant sort of change-up speed. So, just needs that gap to arrive in time, and he should be shooting it.
Okay, I'm going with Can't Find a Better Man as well, so 183.10 for me. That is the 4-year-old championship, proudly sponsored by the Mayer Group, and start time for that feature comes through at 6:18. Race number 5 on Saturday night. This is the first of our Group 1 features, the Pride's Easy Feed Trotters Cup. $100,000 up for grabs here. Mobile start conditions. Last week we're at the mile. This week we stretch out to 2,138 metres. A very good lineup. There's no question about it. And we're looking forward to this race. And it kicks off the Tab Quaddie as well. The main Tab Quaddie races 5, 6, 7 and 8. Darren, as I come to you, last week Sugar and Spice had barrier 1. She was able to lead and she was able to take them all the way. It's a different scenario this week. She's drawn out and we're up in distance. So this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah, it certainly is, but we know how quick she is off the arm, and despite it being gate 6, I still think she can find the front. I guess the big query runner here is probably Majestic Trio. Gets gate 4, was a scratching last week out of the sprint race. Comes in here from gate 4. She does have speed, but she can be a little bit hit and miss. So, pull the trigger early, can get across. But I think Sugar and Spice eventually works her way to the front. What happens thereafter? Well, Adele, gate 12, she probably needs to get into the race at some point. So, is it an early move by Nathan Dawson putting Adele into the race early, get up outside Sugar and Spice, who could be vulnerable at the 2100. That's the way I sort of see it panning out. The other option that could happen there is Sir Fahrenheit push through early off the back of the second line there. Doff Your Cap, he's probably another query runner in the same mould as Majestic Trio. Gets the second line, but big, strong horse. If he gets the right card into the race, he's one that can be really finishing it off. And Call Me Trouble, he was scratched from the DJA. We thought he was a good chance of running really well in that race. He was scratched race day. Didn't see him last week. He comes into this. Again, he gets gate 13. Both he and Adele are ODM runners. So, does he get put in the race at some point as well? So it's a little bit tricky in those early stages, but I think Sugar and Spice probably looks to lead all the way. Whether she can see it out, that's another matter.
Okay. Doff Your Cap was the beaten favourite in this race last year. It was won by the local Wee Man Trouble. What's your read, Ryan, on this race? Do you think Sugar and Spice can do the double, or do you think there's a few others that'll relish the 2100 this week?
I'm clearly with Adele here, Chris. I think she's the best local trotter in Queensland. Out to the 21 suits her perfectly. I think she can be driven to the race pattern. If they're going hard, she can stay back. If they back the tempo off, she can get forward, go to the breeze. From the point of view of Sugar and Spice leading all the way, I think if she was worked over early, Pete might take a trail. That's certainly on the cards. She doesn't have to hold. She can use her speed late, so she can win multiple ways.
Okay. Was Adele the best run out of last week's sprint race?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just the way it profiled. She was went into that race fresh off 3 trials, and probably a couple of those trials she wasn't overly worked too hard in those trials, so she was perhaps a little bit underdone too last week. She comes into this with that 1 week between runs. Her biggest probably chink in her armour is probably herself. She can do things wrong a little bit, but when she's on game, she's super. She has the only time she's missed a placing at Albion Park was that run that was just off the charts, where it's probably the biggest run I've ever seen in defeat of a trotter here. So I'm clearly with her. I think she can really put it all together in this race, in this Group 1 race, and score for Jack Butler.
Yeah, I'm with her as well. I think she's the best of good things on Saturday night. She's a confidence trotter. She's high on confidence right now, and as Darren outlined, I think that run last week will bring her on, and sectionally, she couldn't have done any more. I'm really keen on her, so if we're playing the quaddie, I think we can go one out here with number 12, Adele. 12, 6, 10, 13 for me. Call Me Trouble's a fascinating horse. I wouldn't be shocked to see him run a really bold race despite the draw. Who are you tipping?
Yeah, Adele on top for me. I think she can reverse her fortunes from last week. Just if the race shape suits her, I think she's the one. CK Spurs drawn beautifully. Going to get that peg line trip that he likes. I think Matt Elkins has this horse back. I think he's the best roughie in the race. Sugar and Spice should get over, find the fence, prove hard to beat once again. And the Sydney side, a Majestic Trio, who I wouldn't be shocked to see be leading at the bell. Okay, so you're tipping Adele as well, Darren, and you're giving Call Me Trouble a bit of a hope here.
Yeah, I just think if he's another, well, obviously he's on that RODM embargo, the same as Adele, he can do plenty wrong, but geez, his first round heat win in the DJA was super. So, you know, if he's back to his best, I think he's right in this.
Okay, so we're 2 races down as far as the features are concerned on Saturday night, and we've come up with the same horse in both of them so far. Can't find a better man, and we're all on board with Adele, and hopefully we'll be singing her plenty of praise after this victory on Saturday night. That is the Trotters Cup for Pride's Easy Feed, race time at 7:16. The Group 1 Queensland Derby, proudly sponsored by Ladbrokes this year, is going to be a ripper, and we've got a very short prize favourite, the Victorian. He came, saw and conquered last week. He demolished his rivals in his first look at Albion Park, the Lost Storm. He is at a very skinny quote to take out this feature. Comes up with a front row draw, albeit a little wide, but it's a brave person to tip away from the Lost Storm. He's part of this all-conquering stable. Emma Stewart, Clayton, Tonkin, Mark Pitt has the drive. Amazingly, this is the first time Emma Stewart has lined up a horse in a Queensland Derby, and she brings a good one here, Darren, in the Lost Storm. He was super sharp last week, 2 runs back. He goes up to the 2,600 metres. A lot of these guys going to the 2,600 for the first time, so there's that unknown factor, but he's clearly the horse to beat.
Yeah, he certainly is, and the only runner out of the field that's been beyond the 2,600 is RD's Flash, and that's out of the Great Northern Derby in New Zealand. So, you know, there is that factor, but the Lost Storm, if he gets across to the front, where does any pressure come from? The way he just dictated last week, he got away with a 60.8 first half, only had to go 28.6 down the back. That just set it up for the sprint home. 25.9 he was able to rip home. I can potentially foresee something. I know it's a bigger race. There's $150,000 on offer here. It's a Group 1, but who wants to get out there and roll the sleeves and do the heavy lifting? Because if they do, they might be left lamenting that they took that opportunity. So I'm not sure how they beat him.
It's a good point you raise. Potentially, could it be a little bit of a snooze this race if he rolls straight to the top?
Potentially, once he does work to the top, he might rack him and stack him a little bit. But you know, it's a really good money race. Queensland derbies are always hard fought. I think that there'll be a few moves regardless. So hopefully no snooze fest.
Okay. On deadlines chasing the Derby double, the South East Derby, Queensland Derby double, not beyond the realms. He's in with a chance. He was good, and you would expect further improvement to come following that victory in the South East Derby. There's been 10 horses in recent times that have been able to do it, so it's not uncommon. And we're talking about good quality horses. The most recent was American Dealer only a few years ago. Do you give him any chance? You're from Bathurst, he's from Bathurst, so is there any love for On Deadline?
Yeah, I think he can certainly do it. He's definitely not going to get the trip that he got in the South East Derby, that's for sure, where didn't have to spend a penny early. And although he's fresh up in that race, it took him every inch of the straight to get to Naturally Gifted. So, you know, it's a different ball game for him this week, but he's in there, he'll be fitter, he's got that run. He's had a couple of weeks up here to acclimatise. You'd think from where he starts in gate 5, where he positions, that's going to be the big key to whether he can complete the double.
Okay, one other question I wanted to ask with the Lost Storm. We know he's got a spot in the Eureka. He's only a 3-year-old and he's got to take on the likes of Leap to Fame, Catch a Wave, Captain Ravishing and others. Is this a perfect opportunity for him to make a big statement to say, hey guys, I'm here, I might be a year younger, but I'm coming for you on September 2?
Yeah, well, he's got that advantage that he's only had 2 runs back from a spell. Originally, he was coming for the Rising Sun. Time probably got away from him there. They would have had to have been first up into that race. They opted for an easier trip at home, then brought him up here last week. That was a perfect run for him last week. It's just a training jog in that first sort of 1,200 metres. He only had to sprint home. So you'd think he'll improve again. Take this run out, improves again, he's going to be right in that race.
From a punting perspective, Ryan, this is the first leg of the treble. Many will probably stand him out, the Lost Storm. But what are we looking at? Like, we're going to play the exotics hard here. Quinellas, Exactas, Trifectas, First Four. So who are the main chances around the Lost Storm that we can throw in?
I'm really keen from a map perspective that the Bowden Blues can control early and release the Lost Storm, get that gun leader's back trip, so do not leave him out of anything you do. One horse that's absolutely flying, Sure Thing Captain, can't draw a gate this prep, this horse, but geez, he's going well. I would have said he would have been the Lost Storm's main danger if he had a drawn soft. Yep, so pop him in, and then the rest, it's wide open. So.
Okay. Rock and Roll Hammer, he was placed behind Leap to Fame last time out in the Rising Sun. I know he's got a horror draw, but is he a solid First Four hope?
I think so. He's probably the one horse that can overcome the map. He come from last in the New South Wales Derby to run 3rd. Second in the Rising Sun. It's probably no better form lines for this race.
And what about Naturally Gifted and Doug's Platter?
I'll take Naturally Gifted on, personally. Doug's Platter, yeah, you can certainly make an argument. He is right in the mix. Really good. Sat in the breeze in the South East Derby. Didn't shirk the task, so yeah, have to include him. Okay,
so what are you tipping, Darren, to win the Derby?
Yeah, I've got the Lost Storm on top. Obviously, he gets all the favours you would expect. He comes in white hot form. His form right throughout his career has been super. He gets to the front, and from there, it's just a case of try and work out who runs the minors.
And who have you come up with for the minors?
Yeah, well, I've sort of gone a little bit wider, I guess. I've got RD's Flash in. Not sure where he positions in the run. That's probably the big query, but I'm just taking that 2600 form. He was really good in the Redcliffe Derby where he circled them early. He didn't have much luck last week in the JC McMullen. That was over a mile, so I think he can be there. Throw in Sure Thing Captain, going super, and from there I think you could make a case for many of them to fill those minor placings.
All right, you're putting in a couple of locals there. You mentioned the Bowden Blue Sure Thing Captain, so that could easily throw up a little bit of value with those horses filling top 4 spots.
Yeah, if you jag the First Four there with those selections, it will pay handsomely.
All right, well, I'm going with the Lost Storm as well. My number's there, 6, 11, 7 and 5. I think Doug's Platter can run second. I think the Victorians can run 1, 2. So that is going to be a great race. Since 2000, 8 locally trained horses have been able to win the Queensland Derby, but they're up against it this year because this Victorian colt is clearly the horse to beat. Start time for the Ladbrokes Queensland Derby, 7:46, and that race starts the Tab Treble as well. The Group 1 Ladbrokes Queensland Oaks is going to be a very interesting race. The favourite at this point in time with Tab is Jewel Melody, and she's been the favourite all the way through since the barrier draws were released earlier in the week, but there's a few that are saying maybe this is not her race on Saturday night. I'll be fascinated to get the advice of these guys, Darren, Clayton and Ryan Spice, because some are with, some are against. Jewel Melody won the South East Oaks, the main lead-up race. There's been 8 fillies in recent times that have been able to do the double. The most recent was our Princess Tiffany for the All-Stars operation quite a few years ago, but before that we had the likes of Necktime, Fight for Glory, Nike Branco, Millwood Meg, White Thunder, Sparkling Melody and 5-Star Comfort, the local back in 2001. Darren, Jewel Melody draws out in gate 6, and to be fair, she hasn't had a great deal of luck with barrier draws, and if she wins this Queensland Oaks, she's going to have to earn it.
Yeah, she certainly is, and probably the biggest sort of thing against her in her career to date has just been her real solid gate speed. She can roll forward, but she's always just a little bit tardy out, and from gate 6 that's going to make it really tough for her. You know, where she positions, I think Bernie Hewitt's just got to be positive, and he's just got to continue to press forward and try to you know, prove that she's the biggest and the strongest in this race. If he does that, I think she can see it out. I think she can push forward. From a map perspective, I think Sky Blue can be first to the fence here, and from there she then has the options as to what happens. From there, Peaceful, I think she's a really key runner in terms of both the market and how she's going. Struggling to see why she is as short as she is from gate 5. I'm just not really sure where she's at in her preparation. You know, she had every opportunity at Redcliffe. The excuse was there that she didn't handle the track. She then came to the South East Oaks, led easily from gate 1, handed up, had every opportunity to get over the top of them and couldn't do it. So, you know, what they do with her in the early stages, she's got Promised Land drawn to her inside, who is probably equal in speed with her to get out. So sort of what happens there, I think Mullum Ruby can certainly throw a spanner in the works as well. She's got good gate speed. She can have a you know, push forward to really maintain that running line position. So where that leaves them all, Windy Hill Tara, she might have to be the one coming late, and she was a scratching from the South East Oaks and will be first up here. So where's she at in her campaign?
Yeah, it'll be a big ask for her to win and do the double, the New South Wales Queensland Oaks double. Just hearing Darren talk there, this seems to be a bit of a map maker's nightmare, this race.
Yeah, I think there's lots of permutations to the map, Chris. I think it's not beyond the realms that Jewel Melody's 3 wide for the better part of the first 600 to 800 metres, before she works to the breeze and perhaps pressing on to the front. I think if there's going to be an upset on the card, this race shapes as the one that we might see a blowout type of result. I think what's hard for Jewel Melody with her draw is that I think each horse drawn underneath her can't go back. They all have to go forward to a certain extent. So, yeah, value, I think, for some of those back row runners is on the cards.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think if you're playing the quaddie on Saturday night, you've got to go wide in this leg in the hope that the barrier draw just proves a little too tough for Jewel Melody. The local fillies, you mentioned Sky Blue, Cheerleader's the other one. She won the Redcliffe Oaks. We don't have a great record locally. Do you know who the last Queensland trained filly was to win the Queensland Oaks?
Yeah, well, I would say that would have been Forever Gold, and she would have perhaps done the double, the South East, which probably would have been at Gold Coast when she was around for her 3-year-old season. So, yeah, 4 locals since 2000 have been able to do it. So we're certainly up against it again. But like Ryan said, this is probably the race. It's wide open. You look at the market, it suggests that perhaps Jewel Melody, Peaceful are the two that dominate this race. I can't see it that way.
Yeah, she's chasing her 5th Group 1 win here on Saturday night, Jewel Melody. Are you tipping her?
Yeah, I'm tipping her. I'm putting her on top purely from the class factor. If we look at her last year as a 2-year-old, you know, she got to about August and I already had her penciled in as the Australian 2-year-old filly of the year. She ended up ending her season 14 starts, 7 wins and over 300,000. She didn't get that title. Major Delight come out and went unbeaten, finished the year off and took that title. I think Jewel Melody gets her opportunity here. She'll have to be at her best, but I think she can be. I'm throwing in Sky Blue. I think her effort last week from gate 7, just no luck whatsoever. Since she's been back with Jason Carkeet, she went to Sydney for a campaign with David Thorne. Since she's been back with Jason, going really well, and that run last time out, really good. No dramas is causing me a great deal of angst in recent starts. I just seems to run into dead ends everywhere. She was given a trial last Friday and actually trialled pretty good, so she comes in well, and Tintin Joe, I'll throw her in, so 6, 2, 8, 9 for me.
Okay, the Queensland Oaks, 8 of the last 10 winners have been New Zealand bred. There's only one New Zealand bred filly in this race, and that's Madrigal, one of the locals. Do you give her any chance, or are you going with Dual Melody?
Yeah, I can't see Madrigal winning the race, but she's got a beautiful draw, and if they run the race upside down, she's in the perfect position. Yeah, I'm with Dual Melody. You have to tip her on top. She is the class commodity. If she brings her best, she will win, that's for sure. But without a doubt, if No Drama sees daylight one of these days, she's up to winning a big race. And they put up $61 each way cheerleader. That was highly disrespectful. She's probably the best of our local hopes. She can certainly run top 3. And Talk Like Motion has never gone better. I reckon she's a big chance of a top 4 spot at a huge price.
Okay, I'm going to tip Dual Melody as well, but I think Cheerleader, if she gets any sort of luck, she can make a real race of it and win like she did at Redcliffe. Promised Land won't be too far away. Luke McCarthy's got a great record in the Queensland Oaks. He's won it 4 times. He's got a live chance here with Promised Land, and Tintin Joe, her run in the Southeast Oaks was really good. Might just need that little bit of luck because of the second row draw, but she won't be too far away. As I said, I think that's the race that could easily throw up some value if you're playing the quaddie. It's the Ladbrokes Queensland Oaks, a Group 1 feature, first stage back in 1972, and start time for this race is coming through at 8:16. Race 8, the main event. This is the Grand Circuit race, the only Grand Circuit race that is staged in the Sunshine State, the Blacks of Fate Queensland Championship. So originally we had the Winter Cup, we had the Queensland Pacing Championship. These two races were morphed together, and we've brought it to life with the Blacks of Fate, named in honour of our greatest ever champion. Are we looking at a potential champion here in Leap to Fame? He's taken all before him. This is going to be his crowning moment. This is his big grand final of the carnival. Does he walk away with the major prize?
I think he does. He's just been super. And done it in all different ways. At Redcliffe in the Patron's Purse, it was just jaw-dropping what he was able to achieve. Anyone that you speak to says he shouldn't have been able to do that. He did it. He then came to the Rising Sun, did it effortlessly, just under a gorilla grip to the line in running his last mile in 49. He then came to the Sunshine Sprint where he had everything to lose, but he's probably been the race where he's gained the most. And you know, it's hard to see. He gets back out to the trip, which would suit him ideally, you would expect, where his record's super. So I don't know how they beat him. Victory will take him beyond $1 million in prize earnings. Okay, so what was the most impressive of his 3 wins so far throughout the carnival? The Patron's Purse, the Rising Sun, or last week's Sunshine Sprint?
I'm going to stick with the Patron's Purse. On track, that was, I shook my head. I said he can't win in the run. How quickly he was able to close down the race from the 7 to the 400 was, I haven't seen that too many times. For me, it's the Patron's Purse. But last week in the Sunshine Sprint, you overcome adversity to still get up. You don't see too many horses get that check out of a passage and still prevail at that level over a mile. So, it was excellent as well. Okay. Mapping this race, it's not easy because we've got Turn It Up drawn in gate 3. He's a brilliant gate speed horse. Swayze, his gate speed, not the greatest, but they've got to try and hold their advantage and stay in front of Leap to Fame, you would imagine. And then there's a few others there. Hot and Treacherous lands the most perfect draw in gate 1, so he's right in the firing line. How do you sort of map this race? Who does Turn It Up hand over to? Yeah, well, I look at Hot and Treacherous and you go, that's a great gate, but you've got Turn It Up spearing straight to the front, and do they want to try to lead all the way on Turn It Up? If they do try to do that, I don't think he can see it out, which makes Hot and Treacherous then in all sorts of bother. So you then look at who Turn It Up hands up to. It's really going to affect Hot and Treacherous. And the only thing I could see is if enough gap opens up and Nathan Dawson's able to just get straight into the running line and sort of try to ply his fortunes through that avenue. I don't really know. I think Swayze will be steady enough to just sort of push through with them. We know Turn It Up, Shane Graham just put the left-hand blinker on and he's on the fence. So Swayze just rolls forward, he ends up there, because outside of that front line, who wants to really be coming, unless they want to take a good shot, knowing that they can get to the front. Well, Shane Graham then probably looks at a few of them and says, well, I'm not handing up to you, you're not going well enough to take me into the race.
horse like Magnificent Storm, a horse like Expensive Ego, you wouldn't expect big wheels to be firing out. So that really, I think, leaves it that Swayze just rolls, finds the front. And from there, what happens to the outside? You know, I've got Magnificent Storm probably just getting left there by his own devices outside the leader. Probably doesn't want to be there, but, you know, does he end up there? Leap to Fame, that would give him a perfect trip then. You know, Grant Dixon could always take the opportunity to come around and just sit quiet at the wheel of Swayze. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. The other option that I could see perhaps taking place is Mac Dan just going steady early and then he be the first one to whip around and get to the breeze. So, yeah, it's a little bit tricky how that all plays out early, but however it works, I think it's turn it up first to the fence and then let's see what happens thereafter.
Okay, he's unbeaten for Jason Grimson's Swayze, 5 for 5, went that track record time. Has he earned the right to get an easy lead off Turn It Up in a Grand Circuit race?
He probably hasn't, and that's, you look at that, the races that he has won since he's been with Jason Grimson, that Mr. Feelgood run, he sat back in the pack and came with one run where they went absolutely crazy early on, where Magnificent Storm came out and the pressure was really on early on, so he didn't have to do much there. You look at his Albion Park, the track record run, it's probably a little bit disrespectful to speak of any of the horses he beat in Grand Circuit Company. So, you know, yes, he run the time, but the opposition wasn't there. And then those earlier runs, he's sort of a few different tracks. He's done it well, but yeah, this is a big leap.
How do you rate his gate speed, Swayze?
Moderate to good.
Yeah. Is there a possibility Leap to Fame could be in front of Swayze within, you know, the first 600 metres?
I just don't think there's any need for Grant to get into any of those sort of tactics or battles. I'm definitely of the opinion that Magnetic Storm gets over and challenges Shane initially. That's clear to me.
Sort of has to, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he's just in no
you can't
man's
come
land.
all this way from WA into the biggest race to not ask the question. He has to do that. I'm confident that Turn It Up won't hand to Magnificent Storm. In saying that, Expensive Ego, he's drawn barrier 4. He can't just grab up and go back to last. So in my opinion, he'll work forward as well. And then Swayze will get on his bike. Can Mac Dan get forward as well at some point? I think the golden ticket, to some ways, I do think Swayze ends up on the front end, but the golden ticket is probably sitting on Leap's back in the 1-1. So I can see Mac Dan getting on his bike and trying to get up there before Leap to Fame. Grant can just sit. He can wait. He can go when he wants to and control the race from the breeze. But in saying that, I do think once Swayze works to the front, the blowtorch from the mile, they're going to be running.
Is there a possibility that Grant could just drive him like he did last week for one go at them, rather than, you know, being the enforcer? He can let them all sort of bicker for those spots up front, and he can just drive his own race and then just come with one run.
He can if the tempo's been solid enough, yeah. But if they do look to back it off, he'll be there.
Okay, what are you tipping as far as dangers are concerned for Leap to Fame?
Yeah, well, I think what you just mentioned there is a real possibility in terms of last week it was at the mile and he saved him for that one run and he was able to capitalise. He gets back out to a long trip where he's got that stamina. So that one run sort of scenario really can work out. I think Hot and Treacherous, he just needs a slice of luck. He was really good last week in that sprint. He nearly got ahead of, well, he was ahead of Leap to Fame where Nathan was able to get him through. It's just then in the straight he just sort of peaked a little bit on his run, and I think the drone footage of that race is super where it shows Leap to Fame just pull away from them. But Hot and Treacherous, he gets the right trip here. I can certainly throw him. Spirit of St. Louis, he was good last week as well. If it comes down to one run and he's back on the back of Leap to Fame, similar scenario as last week, he probably runs second if that's how the race pans out. I think Mac Dan, he was luckless last week. He was in behind the speed and just got carted right out the back once the leader hoisted the white flag. Yeah, that white flag went up and that was the end of his night. So he'll be a little bit fitter again, I guess, for that run because he was second up in that often easy trip the week before down in Victoria. So, you know, he's he's a multiple Group 1 winner, and he's no slouch, and he can do a bit of work in his races if they need to whip around early, so I'll throw him in as well. So 9, 10, 1, 11 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 9, 1, 2, 10. I think Hot and Treacherous looms as the biggest threat to Leap to Fame. He hasn't been able to beat him so far. That was in the Patrons' Purse, and again last week. That was probably the best losing drive I've seen last week. Nathan Dawson on Hot and Treacherous, gate 7, last on the inside, and the way he was able to weave through, gave the horse every chance, but we'll probably have to start calling Nathan right shoulder Larry, because he's probably sick of the sight of Larry just peeling off his right shoulder, but it might just play out that way again. So I'm going the locals to run 1, 2. I'm going 9, 1, 2, 10.
For me, Leap to Fame on top, the Bridesmaid Spirit of St. Louis for second. As we've outlined, Hot and Treacherous, he just needs a slice of luck to get off the inside at the right time, and he can certainly be in the finish. Swayze, is it going to be boom or bust? I think he's going to be on the front end and making Leap to Fame earn victory. So, yeah, I'll have him in for 4th.
Spirit of St. Louis is an interesting one. Second in the Sunshine Sprint last week, second in the Nullarbor, second in the Miracle Mile, second in the Blacks Are Fake last year, second in the Sunshine Sprint, second in the Miracle Mile, second in the Hunter Cup. He's probably due for a little bit of luck, and if he can convert here, well, you wouldn't probably deny him given how close he's been in some of these big ones. This is a fascinating race. This is the Ladbrokes Blacks Are Fake Queensland Championship. Race 8, it wraps up the main quaddie, and start time for this great race is at 8:50. The last of our features is the final race on Saturday night. It's the Group 3 Queensland Trotters Derby, proudly sponsored by the Breakfast Creek Hotel. And we've got Rockin' With Attitude here, Darren. She was able to do the double in Sydney, New South Wales Oaks Derby. She's got one leg down, taking the Oaks last week. Again, she comes up against the boys. Does she get the job done?
Yeah, I can't see why she can't. I can't see who beats her to deny her that title. So, yeah, she can go the double-double, the New South Wales-Queensland double-double, and be in position to head back home to Victoria and maybe get the triple-double. So, you know, she's...
It's a fair effort.
Yeah, absolutely super effort. She's a great little filly, and her run in the Great Square was super as well. She was out in front doing the hard work. So, yeah, from gate 5, she probably gets to the front again, you would suspect. I think there's plenty of respect on offer here for her. She can work her way to the front. From there, David Miles can just control it. Razzle Me Dazzle Me, he's the interesting runner. Never had a mobile start. He comes into this. We've seen him at the tapes. He's always, he's very steadily away. Steadily perhaps is kind to the word slow, but, but he's got a motor when he gets going. So his qualifying trial from the mobile, wasn't asked of much. He was more just to actually qualify, so a little bit unknown, I guess. So what will we see from him? But if he's in the right position, doesn't get too far back, I think he will end up too far back, but I still think he runs second. So yeah, and from there, Gypsy Queen, I'm a Gypsy Queen, might just have to do some work again. Izmir probably first to the fence, and yeah, they're just trying to beat Rockin' With Attitude somehow, which I don't think they can.
Ryan, is there any sort of upset looming here?
I don't think so, Chris.
Yeah. Plain and simple, she's past the post?
Straight to the front. They probably can't catch her.
Okay, so you're tipping the filly, Rockin' With Attitude, to do the double-double. What are the place hopes here?
Yeah, well, I think Razzle Me Dazzle Me can run second. Like I said, he probably ends up too far back, but his closing speed, he's really good. So, he's still working it all out. I think Gypsy Queen can get third, and we'll throw in En Masse for 4th.
Okay, so we're all on board with Rockin' With Attitude for David Miles to do the double-double, the Oaks Derby double in Queensland. So that is race number 10. It's the final race on the program. Start time for that race is at 9:51. That is a Group 3 feature. Let's now go to the man of the moment, Grant Dixon. We'll get his thoughts on Leap to Fame, and following Grant, we'll track down Shane Graham as well and see if he can give us a little bit of a heads up on what he's thinking with Turn It Up. Well, Grant Dixon, he's the man in the hot seat on Saturday night because he will partner the star performer Leap to Fame as he chases that big Grand Circuit victory in the Blacks Are Fake, which is race number 8, and he's in the hot seat with us now. Grant, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
This race on Saturday night, barrier draw conducted on Monday. What was the perfect draw that you were hoping for with Leap to Fame?
Probably barrier 2. That would have been good, but you know, nine hopefully won't be too bad.
All right, so we can say 2 off the second row, and you're drawn to follow out Swayze, who's considered to be the main threat to Leap to Fame. So does that sort of set up nicely?
Oh, look, hopefully, just to see how the race pans out. It'll probably depends how nice it feels about halfway through. But I think Swayze's a great chance, but I give Hot and Treacherous a great shot from the draw too, and there's a few others that have been racing quite well under the radar, and 2600 certainly mixes the race up a bit, and you can easily come unfolded.
Okay, well, let's talk about last week firstly before we talk about Saturday night. He was astonishing in so many ways. Did he even surprise you last week?
Oh, Chris, we're always probably surprised by what he can do. But sort of probably in the run where I'm sitting, he probably most of the time feels like he's still going to win. At probably different points you're a little worried, but sort of deeper you go into the race, you're for and from home, he sort of still feels like he's going to get there.
At the bell, you're third last. Did you think you'd be in that sort of position there with a lap left to run?
Look, I really just had to play it by ear. I was hoping to be further forward if I could have, but the tempo of the race, and they took a while to sort themselves out, probably just allowed me to be where I was. I was a little bit mindful whether I could go earlier or not, and due to the fact they were going to be carving out a 50 mile, how far from home I actually could go.
So when you peeled at the 300 there last week, did he feel like he had that race within his reach?
Yeah, at that point he let down good and felt like he was going to win. Obviously I couldn't sort of see right down to the inside how well they were travelling. I knew they were moving through pretty good, and there was a few good horses in there, but he sort of, when I did pull him out, he felt like he was going to win at that point. Now,
am I right in saying you actually pulled the plugs there last Saturday night?
Yeah, I did, because I thought he's going to have to get zipping and get going up around this corner a bit, so I thought I didn't want to be flouncing around trying to pull the plugs near the top of the straight, so I sort of got him out so that we're ready to go.
Yeah, he reacted.
Yeah, he got going. Yeah, he let down.
He's deceptively fast, isn't he? Like he's a big-bodied horse, but he can move like lightning.
Yeah, he's really good. Like he's sort of usually makes your job easy driving, because he's just there for you to do whatever you've got to do.
Okay, I've got to ask the question. The Patron's Purse, the Rising Sun, and then last week with the Sunshine Sprint. Out of those 3 victories, which one was the most impressive from your vantage point?
Well, geez, it's hard to say, Chris. It's probably hard to split on me. He probably won the Rising Sun, probably the easiest. But all the runs were they all had quite good points to them. Yeah, it's hard to say. Honestly, all of them were quite a highlight, really, for him, that's for sure. Yeah,
he's proven at this distance range. He won the Derby last year, so there's no issue there. What, in your opinion, is his preferred trip?
I'd probably say 2600 to 2100. Yeah, I think that's his real cup of tea, because he can really click along at a good tempo for a fair way, which it probably takes a little bit of a zip out of the others. But to his credit, he's won plenty of mile races too now. So I think just the fact he's a good horse, and he can just adapt to the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You've won this race before the Blacks are fake, and it wasn't all that long ago with Colt 31. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But that was your first Sunshine Sprint, so that would have been a nice one to tick off last week.
Yeah, Chris, I've been trying to win one for quite a period, and I don't think I even got close. So it was good to get that off me back, that's for sure.
All right, so what have you and Trista done with him this week?
Yeah, we've just ticked him over at home. He's pleased us. He seems really well. He's bouncing. He's pretty rock hard and fit now. So it was just a matter of just ticking him over through the week. We're both happy where he's at, and let's have another light day tomorrow, and then hopefully all systems go for Saturday.
Okay, it's been a media frenzy for you this week, I'm tipping.
It sure has. Yeah, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but the horse deserves it, so I've got to do my best.
Okay, let's talk about Colt 31. As I mentioned, he won this race a few years ago, and he lines up in race 1. This is a cracking race to start the card. He's drawn gate 1. Where's he at right now, Grant? Colt 31.
Oh, look, Chris, we're happy enough with the bulk of his runs. Probably a little disappointed with his last run a fortnight ago, but we just sort of reset him a bit at home, and we're happy how he's trained along. The distance will suit, and if I can sort of just stay sort of up the fence there reasonably handy, and if they run a nice strong tempo, I think he can run top 4. But like you say, it is a strong race.
Okay. Race number 2, Racy Roxy. This little mare's low flying. Can she pull out another big one on Saturday night?
Chris, we're really pleased with her. She's been good at home. We hadn't been able to gain her start in any of these mares' features until now. But we've been pleased with her. Her form's been building this whole campaign, and if she gets a little bit of luck there somewhere, she's one that has to be driven for luck in these kind of races against these good quality mares. But yeah, she's always an outside chance there, just if she gets luck her way.
Okay. Race 3, this is the 4-year-old championship, and it's an outstanding lineup. Tim's a trooper, low flying. He's got to overcome a second row draw here on the weekend, but you must have been thrilled with the way he attacked the line last week.
Yeah, we've been really pleased with him this campaign. He's just kept building on his form and getting a little better. Probably a little disappointed we missed the start in the Black's a Fake, but it's the way she rolls sometimes. And he's a genuine chance in that race, but he's a bit the same as Roxy. You just got to tuck him away and hope he gets the luck his way. And he can beat decent horses on his right night, but he's got to get that right run.
A couple of the major players here have drawn better too. Can't Find a Man 1. Cobber's drawn behind Can't Find a Better Man, and My Ultimate Ronnie Gate 3. So it won't be easy.
No, that's always harder for him when his hardest ones to beat are drawn better than him. But yeah, he just needed a little bit of tempo on somewhere, and like I say, he just needs luck. He could easily finish right in there, but if he gets no luck, well, he just probably can't go and make his own luck.
All right. Is he Eureka bound?
Oh, look, we're hoping to. Like I said, I've had spoke to Wayne Loader. He's still seeing how Rip comes up, whether he's going to be right. I just seen him and said, keep him in mind if you're looking for one. I think he'd be good, but yeah, we'd love to get him there because like I say, I think you've just got to try and get this horse in as many big races as he can, because I do feel that he can win one day.
Yeah, absolutely. So fingers crossed there with Tim's a trooper. Race 4, Derby Constellation. You're drawn out here in 7 with Free Thinker. He was able to win 2 starts ago, and there was plenty of merit in that performance. What did you make of the run last time out?
He was okay, Chris. There was just no tempo on the race early, and it was always going to be hard for being back in the field. And obviously he was racing the older 4-year-olds, which is also harder for him. He's been going good most of the year round. He sort of, from the draw, it's going to be hard, but he probably just needs the race to be run upside down, and he could definitely be a run-on chance.
Do you give Ark and Wicked or Bold Medley Juge on a shot here?
I thought Ark and Wicked would probably find it a little tough from wide, because he'll have to probably go back from the draw. Bold Medley could probably run a place up along the fence, because I think the way the Saturday night races have been, the fence will be a great place to be because the tempo of races. But he's been a little bit in and out, but he seems pretty good this week. So I think just up the fence, he could actually get into a placing.
All right. Race 6, the Queensland Derby itself. A Rhoda, you're going to drive this guy. Last week, a runner-up behind the Lost Storm. How do you rate your chances here?
Oh, look, obviously the Lost Storm, definitely the horse to beat, and yeah, I don't really think there's one there that can probably beat him. Rhoda's just he's just a place chance there. If I can just get in a spot there and just tuck him away and just sit him and sprint him, we might get into maybe to the first 4 if we get a nice, economical run there somewhere.
26.80 for a lot of these 3-year-olds for the first time. Do you think that could find a few out?
Oh, I think it probably could. Yeah, everyone will probably be wanting to dive for cover, and I don't think anyone will be wanting to be left exposed outside the Lost Storm.
Okay. Race 7, the Oaks. Now, I'm keen to get your thoughts on Cheerleader here. Queensland probably doesn't have the greatest record in this race, not since 2000. We've only had 4 locally trained winners, and they've been well spaced as well. But Cheerleader appears to be going as well as ever. You're probably reliant on luck and tempo, but is she up to winning this race?
Chris, I've been really pleased with her. 2 runs in the Oaks. Obviously at Redcliffe we got all the luck and the favourites done a lot of work, but she did finish off really well, and I was happy with her run fortnight ago. Just the draw's a little bit wicked for her again. She's just in the same scenario. She's just got to sit and sprint and hope that the races run a bit upside down, which may allow some of the back markers to get into it.
Yeah, she was good last week, or last start in the South East Oaks. She still hit the line.
Yeah, she kept coming, and it was from a difficult draw, and she had to come wide and made good ground again. She's going as well as we've had her. So yeah, but she's just the same. She's just got to rely on a little bit of luck and go from there with her.
All right, well, it's a solid book there for you on Saturday night. I'm sure the team's going to perform well. I won't ask you for a best. I think that's obvious. I will ask this. If he wins and puts a little bit of a gap on his rivals, do you give a little salute?
Oh, well, one of my boys, Jai, he's been at me to salute, but I don't know. Sometimes when I time hit the line, it's more of a relief for me, so I just sort of forget about that part and just have a sigh of relief that we've done the right thing by him and managed to get him there. So we'll worry about that if we get to that point, I think, Chris.
All right. Well, you've done a superb job so far, but if you do have that situation unfold, you can look straight down the camera and point and say, "This is for you, Jai." So you can do that. You'll win Dad of the Year for sure if you can pull that off.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No worries, Chris.
Joining us now is Shane Graham. He's got a lot of thinking to do between now and start time of the big Grand Circuit race, the Blacks of Fake, on Saturday night, because he plays such a pivotal role with his runner, Turn It Up. So let's get the latest. Shane, appreciate the time.
No worries.
Turn It Up draws gate 3. Much better than last week in the Sunshine Sprint. You were obviously hoping for a front row draw. So how does it sort of set up early?
Yeah, look, it's sort of, it's better than drawing 7 and out wider. So the closer to the fence you are, the better it is, isn't it?
Well, it certainly looks that way, in particular for him. He's a brilliant gate speed horse. Is there any concern for you just looking at that front row that anything can sort of go with you, or do you think you'll just be straight to the peg line first?
Oh, look, he sort of, he's probably for a while now, he's crossed most horses and, I don't think anyone would be trying to cross him, so if we've got the inside ones covered, I don't think anything out wide will be chancing their hand trying to cross us.
Okay, that being said, this is where you've got to make the big call. Are you holding or handing?
We'll see after the race.
Who do you think might be first on your outside to have a look?
Yeah, look, I'm sure there'll be a few there that come to have a look. I don't have to hand up, he has one in front and he has one with cover. So, we've got that option there in our hand, So, it's a Grand Circuit race, so there's going to be pressure at some stage. But, I sort of just got to work out what we're going to do and, go from there.
All right. Do you expect Swayze and their connections to be really aggressive, though?
Yeah, look, I think they're sort of from the draw. I think they'd be wrapped with it. They're in the running line. They don't really have to burn. But yeah, I'm sure they're going to be going forward. But whether they're doing that in the first 100 or not, that's up to them. But I'm sure they'll drive positive.
Okay, you drive Albion Park more than most, and you drive Albion Park better than most. Putting you in the hot seat of Leap to Fame, and say you were driving him, how do you sort of go about it with his draw, 2 off the second row, directly behind Swayze?
Yeah, I'm sure, Grant would have been happy, but to be honest, I wouldn't care where I drew on that horse. You'd be pretty happy and confident wherever he drew. He's just got the complete, all-round game, and Grant's just got the options. If they go hard, he doesn't have to go forward, and if they go slow, he can. So, I don't think it really, he'd be quite happy with that draw as well, I'd reckon.
Okay, so in your opinion, are you guys chasing second money only here?
Oh no, it is a Grand Circuit race, I'm sure, if, they're all going to get beaten at some stage, but, whoever does, if Leap to Fame does get beat, I think that'll be the winner.
Okay, but just on last week with Turn It Up, second row draw, Just at the top of the lane, did you sort of think to yourself, I'm half a chance here, but that gap just didn't appear at the right time and you lost momentum? It proved quite crucial, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know, in the perfect race, you know, if we could have just went from the fence and been able to pop out 3 wide, I'm sure he would have been in the top 3. But yeah, we just sort of got held up a little bit there, and he doesn't accelerate up the inside quite as good as when he can come wide. But yeah, like I was still wrapped with his run, and he still hit the line well. So in that sort of time, you know, he couldn't ask much more of him.
Okay, this is his 4th shot at the Blacks of Fake. He's been placed on 2 previous occasions. And with this good draw, is this his best chance to finally crack it?
Yeah, you know, like it's he's chased, I think, King of Swing in one of them or 2 of them, and from bad draws, and I think he's drawn 7-0 in most of them, so he has actually burnt pretty hard for the first 100, you know. Hopefully, you know, Wednesday night we don't have to open him fully up, and, you know, we're crossed down to the fence without using too much fuel.
Okay, if we can focus on a negative, if you call it that, 3 starts ago at this trip, I think it was the Lucky Creed, he led and he fired up. Is there any sort of lingering doubt there?
I don't think so. I sort of put that down to my error at home. Probably just had him a bit too, you know, he's a very casual horse, and, you know, I sort of probably just overdone things and had him a bit too on edge, a bit sharp. So, yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem.
All right, well, that's the Blacks of Fake. We wish you all the best of luck there. Some of these other runners you've got on Saturday night, intriguing. Race 1, this is a cracking way to start the card. Send It and LL Cool J. You're driving LL Cool J, Kelly's driving Send It. Was that a tough choice?
Yeah, I probably, you know, like Kel hopped on Send It the other week and he went good, and then last week he was held up, so yeah, I thought, you know, from the draw and how he did go for her when she had her first drive, you know, she could stay on him. And Cool J, I've been real happy with his last couple, but just luck hasn't gone his way, you know, like he probably needs luck again Saturday night. But yeah, it was sort of, you know, I think they're both chances, but yeah, they're probably going to need the right trips.
Yeah, both look to be absolutely going super, but they're sticky draws, aren't they?
They are, you know, like Send It, he'll just go forward and, you know, he'll be getting driven positive early, and Cool J, he just needs probably a little bit of luck on his side, have to take shortcuts.
Okay, race 2, the mare's race. Yarraman Bella, 2 off the second row. Can she be a top 4 chance here?
Yeah, I think she can. You know, I'm sort of a bit disappointed she hasn't been in the last, you know, week or 2 of the mares races. She was going terrific before that, so I think she's got a shot.
Okay, 2 off the second row. This is going to generate tempo, surely. Soho Astoria led out in sub-26 last week. She's drawn 7, so over the mile they should scoot along.
Yeah, that's right, you know. I suppose it's just hard, you know, sometimes when they scoot like that at Albion, you need to be on the fence, and, you know, we might have a bit of traffic in front of us, so, you know, it'll rely on the pace of the race and how it's run.
Is Soho Astoria the horse to beat?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, well, that's the mare's race, race number 2. Let's go across to race 4, Derby Constellation. My dad said this is a 3-year-old that's building a nice little CV. How do you rate this horse?
Yeah, he's sort of ticking along nicely. I think he will turn out to be quite a nice horse. I was a little disappointed in him in the Constellation at Redcliffe. I thought he was up to him, but he bounced back last start, and, you know, probably, you know, albeit an easier race, but I think the distance will suit him.
Okay. Now, from gate 6, what do you sort of do there? Are you going back or are you going forward?
Oh, I think, yeah, you know, like you got to sort of have a look early just to see where you can end up, you know, in these big fields. You know, you don't want to be sort of back too far back, so, you know, I'd say we'll just go forward and see where if we can find a spot, or, you know, try and get in somewhere. Okay.
Race 5, the Group 1 Trotters Cup. Jack a Watch, he's had a wow of a carnival so far. Won the DJA. Super last week in the sprint.
Yeah, he's coming along nicely, you know. He's just kept getting better and better, and you know, we threw him in last week, and, you know, that was his toughest sort of race, and he handled it quite well. So, you know, I think the distance, if it was 26, would be better, but he'll definitely relish the 21 more than the mile.
Okay, gate speed, sort of how do you see this race setting up?
Yeah, look, he, you know, it was his first run off the mobile in, I reckon, probably 12 months the other night, so I didn't really bustle him much, but he did give me quite a good feel. So, you know, we might ask him to do a little bit more on Saturday night.
Okay, it's quite open this race, isn't it?
I think the way the marbles are drawn, it has opened the race up. Yeah, I don't think anything's a standout.
Win, lose or draw, is he set for a bit of a break after Saturday night?
Yeah, I think so. He's he's sort of been up, had a pretty tough season so far, so he can have a freshen up and get ready again.
All right, the Group 1 Queensland Oaks Race 7. You've won this race previously. It was a long time ago. I think it was 2002 from memory. Can you win it again?
I wish I had the same power again. Probably I'd be a chance, but yeah, look, she's done a good job, this filly, and if we get all the luck and some of the better ones have bad luck, she's a shot. But yeah, we need a little bit of luck.
Were you happy with last week?
Yeah, she just probably put in a little roughie around the last bend when they sort of went from nothing to sprint, and I thought if she didn't do that, she would have run second and it would have been more pleasing. But yeah, she just put a little roughie in the gate. But yeah, no, look, against the boys, I thought she'd done a good job.
Do you think this race is going to generate strong tempo, or do you think it might just be a little even here?
Yeah, look, I think like again, the way the barriers have come, I think there could be a little bit of speed on early, and Bernie will just keep working forward. So I think there could be a little bit on early.
Okay, the last race. This is a Group 3 feature, the Trotters Derby. En masse backs up from last week's placing in the Oaks, and you've got Gleneagle Rain. Again, you've got to chase home Rockin' With Attitude. Do you think you can get closer this week?
Yeah, look, it's probably a help that she's not drawn one this week, so it gives us a bit more of a chance. But she's definitely the class runner, and she, if we could finish closer, I'll be happy.
All right. How impressed though were you with the effort of En masse last week?
Yeah, I was quite happy with her. She, she's getting better each run, and I thought she improved a lot, compared to her previous start. So, I think she'll go a little bit better and get on Saturday night.
All right. Just looking ahead, 12 months' time, could she develop into a really nice trotting mare?
Yeah, I think so. She's quite a big filly, even though she's only 3, she's a good size, and she hasn't had this as her first real campaign. So she's the same. I think once she has a break in that, she'll come back nice.
All right, well, you've got some good drives there on Saturday night. None more so in the Grand Circuit race, the Blacks Are Fake, with Turn It Up. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you trackside.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we've got to the end of the show now for Weekend Winners, Blacks Are Fake edition as well. So it's time now to find a good thing. Hopefully everyone's got the nose in front following the last couple of weeks. Darren, I'm going to come to you first here. What are you labelling as your best bet? Mr. McLaren saluted last week for you. You got the money early. Where are we going on Saturday night?
Yeah, it was good to get off to a flyer there last week. Now, this week I'll be waiting, watching the clock, but it'll be at 6:18 for Can't Find a Better Man.
Okay, there you go. Ryan, your best bet?
Soho Historia, race 2, number 7. Tab went up evens. She's into $1.55. I think she'll jump closer to $1.30. She won't have to burn off in a 25-8 first quarter this week. She can saunter across, and she's the one they have to catch. All
right, I'm marking the best bet as Adele in the Trotters Cup. This is her grand final. This is her moment, and I think she comes out on top. Race 5, number 12. Now, as far as the quaddie is concerned, let's have a look at this. It should be fairly straightforward. We've got the Lost Storm, who's deep into the red in the Queensland Derby. That's race 6. Larry's deep into the red in race 8, the last leg of the quaddie. So are we going skinny?
Yeah, those 2 legs, they're your anchors. And then around that, in that first leg, the Trotters Cup, while I am with Adele and think she can win, just throwing in some of those other backliners, so 10, 12 and 13, that being Doff Your Cap, Call Me Trouble, and the 6 horse, which is Sugar and Spice, and then the Oaks, that's wide open, or it's just straight up for Dual Melody. So just the insurance factor there, so 2, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, $24 for 100% for me.
Okay, I'm going to spend $12 for the quaddie. Adele 1 out. 6 and 11, I'll put in Doug's platter just for a little bit of insurance. I'll play wide there in the Oaks, and I'm going to bring it home with Larry in the Blacks Are Fake. So $12 for 100%. Ryan?
I'm going to be having CK Spur, Majestic Trio, Sugar and Spice. I think they could be potentially 1, 2, 3, the pegs at the bell, plus Adele, my clear on top selection. Standing out the Lost Storm, and then in the Oaks we're having Dual Melody, no dramas, she just needs a slice of luck, and a bit of a roughie, the best long shot of the night, cheerleader, into Larry.
Okay, so they're the best bets and quaddies coming through from us three for Saturday night's card. It's a 10-race program. We start at 5:14. It is going to be a ripping night to win the carnival, the Constellations for 2023. All eyes are going to be on Leap to Fame. Can he complete this carnival in the way he started it, just with wins? He's been unbeaten so far this year, and if he does walk away with this victory, it sets up for an amazing Eureka race down in Sydney at Menangle on September 2, and then he's back here in Brisbane for the Inter-Dominion, and that series starts on December 1. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure over the last couple of weeks. I'll see you both trackside tomorrow night, and we'll return same place, same time, Inter-Dominion time, December.
How good's that going to be? The next 6 months, absolutely great time to be in Queensland.
Yep. Does he lose a race between now and the Inter-Dominion?
No.
No. We're on the Larry train, there's no doubt about it. That race, the Blanks are fake, 8:50. We'll see you all trackside Saturday night.